All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Game Day with Trey. This is your host, Trey, and this is your NBA picks for the full NBA slate for today, Monday, 2/12/2024. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing started. First game on the slate, Indiana Pacers at the Charlotte Hornets. All right, so right now, the Pacers are 30-25 on the season, 13-14 on the road, straight up. Whereas the Charlotte Hornets are 11-41 on the season and 6-21 at home. All right, they're 29. The Pacers are 29-22-3 against the spread, and 14-10-1 on the road. So that's really what matters, is they're 14-10-1 on the road against the spread. Whereas the Hornets are 11-16-0 at home against the spread. Now in the last 10, Pacers are 500, man. All right, they're 6-4 straight up, but they're only 5-5 against the spread in the last 10 games. Whereas Charlotte in the last 10 is 1-9 straight up and 3-7 against the spread. Just to give you a couple facts on the game, man. So the Hornets have lost each of their last 15 games against Eastern Conference opponents. Hornets have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 9 games against Central Division opponents. And 10 of the Hornets' last 11 night games following a home win have gone under the total line. All right, so something about the Pacers real quick. So the Pacers have won each of their last 6 games against Eastern Conference opponents that held a losing record. The road team has covered the spread in 7 of the Pacers' last 8 games. Each of the Pacers' last 6 games as road favorites following a road win have gone under the total points line. So, man, my pick for the game, I'm not going to lie, it is, and I hate to be like that because of the fact of the way the Pacers have been and the way they score. You know what I mean? Like, their over-unders are crazy. If you look at their over-unders for the Pacers right now, situationally, over under, they end up going 11 over, 12 under in this situation with 2 pushes, whereas the Hornets go 15 over and 12 under in this situation. But given the fact that there's no LaMelo Ball, Hornets have made a lot of trades. A lot of trades kind of emptied out the team. They still kind of don't have a point guard right now. So I'm not understanding how they're doing that. But the line opened, all right, for the over under at 228.5, and now it's all the way up to 238. And I also opened at Charlotte plus 9.5 and Charlotte plus 11, man. Now, I can only lean towards the Pacers on this, you guys. I'm not saying give up all those points, though. I really don't like that many points. 11 points is a lot of points, regardless of how the Hornets have been getting blown out or not. So if I had a lean on this game, it would be the Pacers money line. And if you can take the Pacers down to like -6, -5, you can mess with that too. But that over-under, the 238, neither one of them are going to play any defense. So I would take the Pacers team total points over because, that would probably be the best look on this game. Your 76ers visiting the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right, so on the season right now in this situation, Philadelphia is 14-11 straight up, whereas the Cavaliers are 18-8 at home. All right, against the spread, Philadelphia is 14-11 on the road, whereas Cleveland is 13-12 at home against the spread. Now, in the last 10, straight up, the 76ers are 2-8, and they're paltry like 3-7 against the spread in these last 10. Remember, they got no Joel Embiid. He got hurt a couple weeks ago, so that kind of hurt the team. They're still adjusting, trying to figure out how to play without him. Plus, they're missing several other players. Now, if you look at Cleveland, last 10, Cleveland is 9-1, and they're 6-4 against the spread. Just to give you guys some background on these two teams. All right, Cleveland Cavaliers have won each of their last 9 games. The Cavs have covered the spread in each of their last 6 games as favorites following a road win. And 7 of the Cavaliers' last 8 games against the 76ers following a road win have gone under the total points line. Now for the 76ers, the road team has won each of the 76ers' last 6 games. The road team has covered the spread in each of the 76ers' last 6 games. And 4 of the 76ers' last 5 games against Central Division opponents have gone under the total points line. So for this one, it's pretty simple. All right. Philly team total points under. I wouldn't mess with the total under. All right, for a specific reason that it opened at 228.5 and it went up to 230.5, and I think that's because Cleveland's offense can pretty much carry that. But yeah, so it would be Cleveland money line. I'm not taking a minus the 10. If you're gonna take the points in this one, it would be a lean towards Philly, most likely, with like 14 or something like that. I can't do it with the 10. It's just I can't do it with the 10. But it would be Cleveland money line and the Philadelphia team total points under. All right, so for our next matchup, let's go to the streets of Atlanta. We got the Atlanta Hawks versus the Chicago Bulls. All right, so right now, the Bulls in this situation are 10-16 on the road straight up versus Atlanta being 13-14 straight up at home. So they're getting better. The record's almost 500 finally. Remember, this is one of the worst ATS teams that's been out there, period. I don't really understand how, because they do have players, but Trae Young being the individual that he is, and DeJounte Murray being the individual that he is, it just seems like those two don't really coexist too well on the court. The team did get better when Trae Young got out for some reason. Started playing more defense and started covering spreads. But let's go ahead and get back to this. So the Bulls in this situation against the spread are 13-13, whereas in this situation, like I told you, Atlanta was trash in the beginning of the year. They're 8-19 against the spread at home. All right. Now in the last 10, straight up, the Bulls are 500. But against the spread, they're 6-4. Whereas Atlanta in the last 10 is 6-4 straight up and 6-4 against the spread. Now, this is a matchup, you guys, that it's like two different types of basketball. One being the Chicago Bulls. They want to play a slow, methodic game. They want to get the ball in and out. They want to clear the lanes. They want to shoot some threes, but really they want to shoot mid-range jumpers and get to the cup. Whereas Atlanta, they want to run and gun and run you out the court. All right, and they just want to shoot threes and pop them from anywhere and everywhere. Now, to give you a couple facts, the Hawks have won 15 of their last 16 home games against Central Division opponents that held a losing record. The Hawks have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 9 home games against Eastern Conference opponents following a win, though. And each of the Hawks' last 6 Monday night games at State Farm Arena have gone over the total points line. Whereas the Chicago Bulls have won each of their last 5 games as underdogs against Southeastern Division opponents following a loss. The Bulls have covered the spread in 8 of their last 9 games against Eastern Conference opponents following a loss, and each of the Bulls' last 5 games have gone over the total points line. So, give me Atlanta money line, give me Atlanta minus the 4, and give me the over. All right? I like all of it. Now, next, and hold up. I would actually probably do Chicago Bulls team total over 2, because this is going to be a game where they're going to be running and gunning, and you're really not going to see the defense that you would normally expect, because Chicago is a team who's just going to follow the other team. I'm just going to call it like it is. Chicago's going to follow the other team. So let's get to the next game. Next game we got San Antonio Spurs visiting Toronto Raptors. All right, the spread is Toronto giving up 7, and the over/under opened at 232. Since it's now Toronto giving up 6, and the over/under has gone up to 237. All right, so right now your record on the road for the Spurs is 5-22 straight up, whereas Toronto is 11-14 straight up at home. Remember, they've made a few trades. A lot of trades. They pretty much flipped their whole team. So for this one, you really want to pay attention to the injury report and see what's going on. We'll get into that in a second, though. So against the spread in this situation, the Spurs are 12-15. And in this situation, Toronto at home against the spread is 11-14. In the last 10 games, San Antonio is 2-8 straight up, 3-7 against the spread, and Toronto is 3-7 straight up and 4-6 against the spread. For this game, this is like a stay away game. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, it looks like Wemby has hit a rookie wall right now, man. He only got like 5 rebounds the other day, or 4 rebounds the other day. And there's talk coming out of San Antonio that they're trying to figure out how to get him past that rookie wall right now. So, and then on top of that, Toronto's just, you never know who's going to be out there, how they're going to play, this and that and the third. But let's keep going. All right. So Toronto Raptors team facts. The Raptors have won each of their last 6 games against the Spurs. The Spurs have covered the spread in each of their last 6 games against the Spurs, and each of the Raptors' last 7 home games have gone under the total points line. Now, San Antonio, the Spurs have lost each of their last 9 games against Atlantic Division opponents. The Spurs have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 7 games against Atlantic Division opponents following a loss, and 8 of the Spurs' last 9 games have gone under. Not to mention that Toronto has beat the Spurs 6 games in a row and covered 6 games in a row. All right, they played earlier this season. Toronto won and covered that game. All right, so who am I going to say is going to win this one? Man, it can only be a lean towards Toronto right now. I'm sorry. I can't mess with anything else on this game. This is a 1-800-GAMBLERS Anonymous game. If you do need help, go ahead and call that number. All right, because you should not be betting on the Toronto versus San Antonio Spurs game. It's just, I don't know. If you see something, that's great. Okay, but me, I can't put my money on that. No, I just can't. Not unless I'm taking Toronto money line. And that's pretty much all I can mess with on that, man. All right, so let's get to this next one. Next game, we got the New York Knicks visiting the Houston Rockets. All right, now this line opened at Houston +4, and over/under at 221. Since it's moved to 221.5 for the over/under, and it's now Houston +3, so it's inching towards some money, I guess, coming in on the Rockets. Okay, now this is a game where you're gonna have to pay attention to who's actually on the injury report, and for this one, we have Hartenstein's questionable, and Anunoby is early. He won't be back till early March. Julius Randle won't be back till late February with the shoulder. Marcus Robinson is out for the season, but it's looking like Brunson will be playing, so that's a good thing. They can win if Brunson's out there. For Houston, you got Sengun is questionable. Van Fleet still won't be back. All right, so to get back to this game, we got the Knicks coming in at 14-12 on the road. All right, in this situation, whereas the Rockets are 18-9 at home. All right, so remember, Rockets are one of the best home teams in the league, or at least were at one point. Then they started losing games. Trying to say it was because of Dylan Brooks being out, but I don't really see that. I just think they're a very young team and they're trying to get it together. All right, now against the spread, the Knicks are 14-11-1 on the road, whereas the Houston Rockets are 17-9-1 at home. All right, so Houston Rockets clearly the better team when they're at home than they are usually when they're on the road. But if you've been watching basketball, you should know that right now. Uh, last 10, Knicks are 7-3 straight up, 6-4 against the spread, whereas Houston is 3-7. All right, straight up, and 5-5 against the spread in their last 10 games, man. Now to give you some facts on this game, okay, when you're talking about the Houston Rockets taking on this New York Knicks team, okay, you're more than just talking about what's going on with all these injuries. You're talking about Jalen Brunson. Is Jalen Brunson going to come out here and is he going to snap in this game? In my honest opinion, I think Jalen Brunson's going to come out and put his points up, make sure what needs to happen happens for them to win this game. Give you some facts. No, let's go. We got the Houston Rockets have lost each of their last 10 games as underdogs against Eastern Conference opponents. The Rockets have covered the spread in each of their last 5 home games against Eastern Conference opponents. And each of the Rockets' last 7 Monday games as underdogs have gone over the total points line. Whereas the Knicks have won each of their last 10 night games against teams that held a losing record. The Knicks have covered the spread in each of their last 6 games as road favorites following a home loss. And 6 of the Knicks' last 7 games as road favorites have gone under the total line. So for this game, give me the Knicks minus the 3. I like that it's gone down, and I hope it keeps going down. Yeah, I like the Knicks minus the 3. I do think Houston, if you give them a couple points, move them up to like 7.5 points, you're pretty locked in there. All right, so if you were able to get it at 4 and then buy 3.5 points, you should be good. A lot of people don't like to buy points when you're talking about, gambling in sports or basketball, period. But at the end of the day, it's about winning. It's not about, you shouldn't be, a person shouldn't be looking, okay, at that dollar amount. They should be looking at the percentage they're making off of that dollar. If this was a stock, you would be happy with 10%. It's 20%. You know what I mean? So if this was a stock that you were putting this money on, so you should be looking at it the same way. I'm not saying go for 10%, 20% on your money on each one of these bets. I'm not doing that. But I have a threshold. Understand the numbers. Understand what you're looking at. Understand what you're trying to get back to, man. All right, so next game, we have the New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. All right, so this line opened up at Memphis plus 8.5 with over-under at 223. It has since gone down to 222, and Memphis is now getting 9.5 points. In this situation, the Pelicans are 16-12 on the road, whereas Memphis is 5-19 at home. Against the spread, the Pelicans are 15-11-1 on the road, whereas Memphis is 8-16 at home against the spread. And in the last 10, the Pelicans are 6-4 straight up and 6-4 against the spread, whereas Memphis is 2-8 straight up and 6-4 against the spread. Now Memphis has gone on a little run, you guys, covering games and actually not looking as bad as they actually are. Like, it's really shocking to me how they've come out and they just all of a sudden start covering games. All right, when you're talking about a team that really is missing every single player that they got. All right, let's look at these injuries real quick. Okay, so Memphis is missing Derrick Rose, Williams is out, Clark is out, Bain is out, Smart's out. We all know John Morant's out. And on the Orleans side, of course, Zion Williamson's on the list is questionable. You do want to pay attention to that because he is very important to this team. But everybody else looks good to go, man. And then when you look, all right, at these two teams, and you're looking at that spread, man, you can only land. Now, hold up. I got a caveat. Let's pause for a second. Remember this, guys. All right, the All-Star break's about to come. All right, so people are thinking about going on vacation. People are thinking about what they're gonna do. These guys are millionaires. They can go anywhere and do anything. All right. So at the end of the day, remember, bet intelligently right now. Okay. But I like New Orleans money line, and I could take. That's it. That's it. I can't mess with anything else. You could probably mess with Memphis plus the 9.5 right now, and probably try to catch New Orleans slipping. You know what I mean? But you really got to pay attention to that injury report. And plus, it's just like, is New Orleans really going to take this game fully seriously? Probably not, man. You know what I mean? That's why it would have to be New Orleans money line and Memphis plus the points. All right, next game. Let's get to Denver Nuggets at the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, this line opened at 233.5. Money Milwaukee -1. Since it has moved to over/under is now down to 231, and Milwaukee's getting 1.5. All right, so in this situation, all right, Denver Nuggets are 15-13 on the road, whereas Milwaukee Bucks are 22-6 at home. All right, against the spread, the Denver Nuggets are 10-17-1 on the road, whereas Milwaukee is 11-15-1. All right, at home against the spread. Now, if you look at the last 10, you got Denver 7-3 straight up and 3-6-1 against the spread, whereas Milwaukee is 4-6 straight up and 4-6 against the spread. All right, we all know the troubles of the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks struggle. They don't beat good teams, right? All right, and when you come over to this injury report and you see that Middleton is out tonight, it's a problem. You're gonna need Middleton tonight, man. And then when you look over to Denver, Caldwell Pope's questionable. Porter is probable. All right, everybody else is good to go. There's a lot going on with these two teams, man. Like, you really have not seen anything great with these two teams. I can give you some trends though. So the Denver Nuggets have hit the fourth quarter game total under in 62 of their last 96 games, and the Milwaukee Bucks have hit the total over in 47 of their last 79 games. So return on interest on the Milwaukee Bucks on that one is 14%, whereas for the Denver Nuggets it's 22%. Denver Nuggets have hit the money line in 53 of their last 74 games. That's a 10% ROI. Milwaukee has hit the first quarter total over in 49 of their last 84 games. So that's a good number to know, good stat, you guys. But as far as this game's concerned, I'm gonna have to rock with the under. I really can't mess with too much more in this game besides the under. I really don't think that Milwaukee's going to come out scoring like that. You see the number going down like that for a reason. That 231 is where it's probably going to be at, man. So if you're going to take something money line or in this game or pick somebody in this game to win, wow, it's going to have to probably be Milwaukee, man. It's going to have to probably be Milwaukee. But I really think Denver's going to control the pace of this game. That's why my lean is Milwaukee, but my actual pick for this game would be the team total or the total under 231. All right, our next game, we get the Washington Wizards at the Dallas Mavericks. All right, so this line opened up at Dallas minus 14.5. Over under was at 248.5 cents. It has gone down to 247.5, with Dallas now only giving up 12.5, because that 14.5 is too many points. That's why Dallas is not going to cover that, but not 14. That's way too many. But let's go ahead and get back to where we're at. All right. Situationally, Washington is 6-20 on the road. All right. Dallas is 15-13 at home against the spread. Washington is 16-8-2, whereas Dallas is 12-16 at home. On the last 10, Washington, it was 2-8 with 4-6 against the spread, whereas Dallas is 6-4 straight up and 5-5 against the spread. This is another one of those games where you really got to pay attention to the injury report. So who is out? We got Kyrie probable, and we got Luka probable. And we got Lively is out. That hurts. Lively's still out for Dallas. And then over on the Washington side, Livers is out indefinitely. So there's really no other injuries on the Washington side. For this specific game right here, there's a lot of different ways to look at it, man. Okay. Washington's been covering lately, all right, especially when you give them double-digit points. Like I told you before, we are going into the All-Star break, all right, so these teams are looking towards the All-Star break and the little vacation, mini vacation they got coming up. To give you some facts, the Dallas Mavericks have lost each of their last 8 games after winning as underdogs. That's a good fact right there. The Mavericks have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 11 home games against Eastern Conference opponents that held a losing record, and each of the last 6 games between the Wizards and Mavericks have gone over the total points line. Now, the Washington Wizards team facts: Wizards have lost each of their last 17 road games against teams that held a winning record. The Wizards have covered the spread in each of their last 6 road games against Western Conference opponents that held a winning record, and 8 of the Wizards' last 9 games have gone under the total points. So I can only look towards the Wizards in this game, you guys. It's just, I think that it's going to be a backdoor cover. If you can get it up to 14.5, take it. But 12.5 is kind of sketch. You can try it at the 12.5, but and if you want to go, if you want to go money line on Dallas and waste your time like that, go ahead. All right, but I really don't see any other plays in this game. Like I said, my lean would be to take Washington plus the points, man. Okay, all right. So let's get into the next one. Next game we got on the card will be the Golden State Warriors visiting the Utah Jazz. All right, so in this line opened up at Golden State over. I'm sorry. This line opened up at Utah plus the 1. Over under was set at 243.5. It's since moved down to 240, which I think was good for good cause. All right, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. And as far as the line, it stayed the same. Now, on this situation, Golden State's 11-11 on the road, straight up. All right, whereas the Jazz are the Jazz at home, man. They're 17-7. They do what they do. Okay, it's like you go to Utah, you lose your superpowers. It is what it is. Ask MJ. All right. So then you got the Warriors against the spread. They're 15-8, whereas the Jazz are 18-6 at home. So it's a pretty good matchup against the spread. You can usually look at the line. The line will tell you a lot about who actually probably win the game. Last 10, Golden State 7-3 straight up, 7-2-1 against the spread. So they're on a hot run right now, you guys. Whereas you got a Utah Jazz team that's only 4-6 in their last 10 and 5-5 against the spread. Golden State understands the gravity of the situation right now. They understand the fact that if they don't start winning, that they are not going to make the playoffs. They are literally on the verge of not being in the play-in and in the playoffs if they do not continue to make the run that they're making. Whereas the Jazz, okay, the Jazz are a team that has been playing pretty good, especially at home. All right, like they play great at home, to be honest with you, and they're a team that is honestly, they're like the boogeyman in Utah. All right, so I'll give you a couple facts. Home team has won each of the last 6 games between the Warriors and the Jazz. The Jazz has covered the spread in 9 of their last 10 games when playing with a rest advantage. And each of the Jazz's last 6 games against Western Conference opponents have gone over the total points line. Whereas for the Golden State Warriors, they have won 10 of their last 11 night games against Western Conference opponents that held a losing record. The Warriors have covered the spread in each of their last 6 games against Western Conference opponents following a win, and each of the Warriors' last 4 games have gone under the total points line. So, being honest with you, that line is moving down, the over-under is moving down because of the fact that Golden State's going to win this game. They're going to win this game. All right? They're going to break that trend of the home team winning. So take Golden State and take it under. All right? It's going down for a reason. Okay? And it's not just going down because you've got the Warriors being the Warriors. They've played way better defense as of late since they've hit this run and started winning. So, take Golden State minus the 1. That's what I'm rocking with, or I would rock with. However, that over-under, I do like it under the 240. If you could have called it at under 243.5, oh my God, you'd be in the game. All right? And the last game on the slate is the Minnesota Timberwolves visiting the Los Angeles Clippers. All right, so this line opened up at the Clippers minus 4. Over-under set at 222.5. Since this line has gone up, Clippers minus 4.5. Over-under set at 224 now. As far as records concerned, in this situation, Minnesota 17-11 on the road, whereas the Clippers are 20-5 at home. Against the spread, the Timberwolves are 13-15 on the road, and the Clippers are 14-11 at home. All right, so when you look in the last 10, Minnesota 6-4 straight up, 5-5 against the spread, whereas the Clippers are 8-2 straight up and 6-4 against the spread. Now, this game is very intriguing to me because of the fact that the Clippers are coming for that first place spot, man. All right, I really believe that the Clippers are going to take this game seriously. Head to head, in the last 10, it's even 5-5. Over under is gone 4 to the over, 6 to the under. So the trend is under, and it is. They just saw each other on the 14th, man. On the 14th, they just got done seeing each other, and Minnesota won 109-105. This was in Minnesota. Minnesota was getting 1 point, and the over-under was set at 225, so it went under. Now, this is a revenge spot, quick turnaround revenge spot, I believe. It's been about 3 weeks since they've seen each other, but I'm pretty sure the Clippers have not forgotten because the Clippers have been on a run, like a serious run since then. All right, now let's look at the injuries. The injury report, you got nobody out for the Clippers besides Diabate, and, Jaden McDaniels is questionable. And Clark out still. McLaughlin is questionable. Man, look, if McDaniels plays, that gives them a great chance for tonight. But it seems like he only comes out to play on certain games. I guess this is one of those games, a big game, right? So let's get back to what as far we were looking at as far as a pick for this game. Oh, man. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I am leaning towards the Clippers, man. Okay, when you look at what the trends have been for the Clippers and how they've been playing as of late, all right, like the Clippers have hit the money line in 27 of their last 33 games, man. That's 20% return on interest. This is a game for first place in the West Conference, man. And so you got to take that with a grain of salt and understand what's going to happen. So I can only lean towards the Clippers, man. Clippers money line. Normally I would rock with Minnesota in a situation like this. Okay, but I believe in the Clippers right now. It's sad to say because I'm a Lakers fan. But that's it for you guys, man. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Stay safe. Good luck. I'll see you at the window. Peace.